This week we're taking a look at the new Art of Rebels book.
Plus, you'll get to meet some fans who took their passion for Star Wars to the next level.
This is my dog, he's not in the show.
This is the Star Wars Show from the Lucasfilm headquarters in San Francisco. Here's your hosts, Andi and Anthony.
Hello and welcome to the Star Wars Show, a Star Wars show that has only 9 more episodes to go until the Rise of Skywalker.
Which, of course, is the 9th movie in the Skywalker saga.
A saga whose first episode debuted in theaters in '99.
And whose final film debuts in 2019.
So many nines.
What does it all mean?
Probably that our writer is padding for time before we go to the next segment.
Should we go to the news?
9.
Was that another mention of the number 9, or were you saying no in German?
I'll never tell.
Star Wars Rebels may have left the air, but the art from the series can live on in your home thanks to the new Art of Star Wars Rebels book from Dark Horse Books and Lucasfilm.
The book, which is written by Dan Wallace, will feature never-before-seen concept art and exclusive tidbits from the show's creative team.
Plus, StarWars.com has landed a look at the limited edition slipcase, which will also include 2 prints of sketches from Dave Filoni's personal sketchbook.
The Art of Star Wars Rebels will arrive on store shelves on March 17th, 2020. Oh, hey, it's Wednesday, which means it's New Comic Book Day.
This week we've got your first look at Journey to Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, Allegiance number 3.
The latest installment in the Ethan Sachs penned miniseries finds the diplomatic negotiations on Mon Cala upended by a street brawl between Rey, Rose, Chewie, and the local Quarren.
But if you're looking for a more macabre Star Wars tale, check out Kevin Scott's Return to Vader's Castle number 4, entitled Vault of the Living Brains.
The story follows Jabba's estranged cousin Kraka as he arrives at Jabba's palace bearing a sharp-toothed gift.
Spooky.
The full issues of both comics will be available on October 23rd, but you can check out the covers and preview pages right now on starwars.com/SWS.
Finally this week, people have been customizing their cars for decades.
From hot rods to magical vans with space wizards painted on the side, people's cars are an extension of their creativity.
But would you believe it if we told you that an entire crew of dedicated fans have transformed their ordinary cars into full-blown Star Wars-ified rides?
Believe it. They're called Road Squadron, and this is their story, thanks to our friends at GEICO.
The Star Wars tribute cars of Road Squadron have descended here to Lucasfilm headquarters to take over the galaxy and show off our art. Road Squadron is a Star Wars art car tribute group that was founded in 1999 by myself and by Katie Horn. And we've since grown to 120 members all across the United States who are trying to turn their passion for Star Wars into a car club that shows everything they like about Star Wars and something that they can drive on the road on a daily basis.
This is Black 1X, and it is based on Poe Dameron's X-Wing. We did the graphics with vinyl. It was super cheap, super easy, super fast. I decided on this design because Poe Dameron's X-Wing, quite simply, is the coolest starfighter in the Star Wars universe, and it just really translated well to the shape of our car. On the side, we've got kill marks. There's a TIE fighter for every time we've exhibited the car somewhere, and I like to think Commander Dameron would be proud that we're keeping track that way.
I think we just need to keep adding to it, add laser cannons next, do some more damage to it. There's never a time to stop, and I love that we can do this together.
This is my 2006 Mustang GT. Blue is my favorite color, and of course when the Clone Wars came out, Captain Rex, being such a star character, that was definitely a key factor. Throughout the car there's some small details. You'll look around and you'll see I have a dashboard hologram Emperor. I have some custom seat belts that are made. They look like a trooper belt. I wanted it to be a little more subtle than a lot of the other things. Of course I'd like to go a little more maybe, but this is what I enjoy.
What I've got here is a T-65 X-Wing. It's patterned off of Red 2. Anywhere that I've been able to go accurate to the studio scale model I have. I started gluing panels all over it, and that's about 300 something of them. I've got autographs all over the car. The best one I have is Kenny Baker's. That was really lucky, and I'm very happy about getting that one. Some people golf, I mess up my car.
Makes a lot of people happy.
If I'm in my suit like this and I get a little 5-year-old, I can just about convince him I flew in from the moon that morning. That makes it all worth it.
This is the Z-Wing car fighter. We tried to find things that are inexpensive but convey convey the sort of kit bash nature of Star Wars that was used with all of the spaceships in the films. And so in my case, I'm using $3 pizza pans on the wheel covers. The laser cannons are made out of baseball bats. All sorts of things you wouldn't necessarily think of as neat Star Wars details are then reconfigured to convey exactly that. Being able to take a road trip cross-country and to be able to show off what we've done for the people who've given us so much cool stuff through the Star Wars saga is pretty amazing for us and makes us feel like part of the Star Wars family. And with luck, maybe we can come back and do something like this again.
Today, Hal, Hickel, and Rachel Rose came all the way from ILM to hang out with us and talk about Galactic Builders. So your episode of Galactic Builders comes out tomorrow. It's such a neat series, teaching kids science through Star Wars, pairing up with the first robotics team. Can you talk a little bit about what you guys did with your first students in your episode?
We had them come in and tell us a little bit about the program that they're in and what they've done. And then we showed them how we built K2SO in the computer, how we handled the motion capture.
And then we had a great time showing them the stagecraft system that we have for doing virtual production.
I got to do the magic mirror thing once. It's super cool. Anthony and I were both doing it. We were like looking at his wrists and like inside his armpits to like see how his joints work and everything. I can imagine for a kid who's interested in robotics, that was a pretty interesting experience.
They're engineering actual robots that have to function and perform a task and all that, whereas we're creating robots that we hope people will think look very real and are real, but we get to cheat. Like all that mechanics you were talking about inside the shoulders and hips. It looks cool and it looks like it should do what it's supposed to do, but it doesn't really do what it's
ruining the magic.
Don't tell anyone.
You mean to tell me K2's armpits are just for decoration?
Kind of, yeah. But they're meant to look like, you know, we drew inspiration from the real world.
They were amazing at being able to draw lines between what they were doing physically with the real robots and what we were doing kind of digitally, even though, it's not always grounded in reality.
You guys are inspiring kids through, what you make. How important is it to you and for ILM, you think, to partner with kids in these sorts of organizations?
I think it's really super important for us to do this. Star Wars as a whole is very inspiring to young children. So we have this great gift that we can use as a way to help them get into more STEM, and it makes me really excited.
What they accomplish in their robot building programs is way beyond me. So I'm super inspired by that. And then, I hope that what we're doing in turn inspires them and kids like them to get into STEM fields. Or visual effects. Hello?
Yeah.
That may not be exactly what you were picturing, but it involves a lot of math.
It's like art and engineering all mixed together.
Yeah, and a lot of what they're doing when I talked to them was really mixing art and engineering even within their robotics programs.
It's pretty amazing seeing these young kids who are already so into a field and developing these skills. Do you have any advice on how they could translate that into maybe a career here at ILM?
Don't wait. You can make flip books, you can write, you can shoot a movie on your iPhone. There's no reason to stop yourself from getting on with it and making things. That's usually the advice I get, because it's easy to throw up your own roadblocks that stop you.
What I always tell people, especially people who are technical, is that many of the careers that you might be used to while you're in school, there are many, many other opportunities. And if you have that interest in both the technical and the creative, there's a wide variety of different things you can be doing, and this just happens to be one of them. Get out there, talk to people that are in the industry, make some connections. You don't have to have everything in front of you completely spelled out right now. There's so many different opportunities and ways in which you can explore the world of the technical and the creative together.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming by, and thanks for getting involved with Galactic Builders and First Robotics. It's super exciting. Check out their episode of Galactic Builders tomorrow on StarWarsKids.com and YouTube.com/StarWarsKids.
You're watching the Star Wars Show.
Ooh, that was a humdinger of an episode full of Star Wars content.
And speaking of Star Wars and content for the internet, we wanted to see some of your vintage Star Wars Halloween costumes.
That's right, we're talking homemade Luke's, store-bought Ben Cooper flammable vinyl smocks. As long as it's old and Star Wars, we want to see it.
So send us your old school photos of you cosplaying Star Wars using the hashtag #SpookyStarWars, and we'll feature our favorites here next week.
And as always, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and have your parents check your Halloween candy before eating it.
Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.
Halloween used to be real dangerous. Candies were full of who knows what.
My dangerous Halloweens were because we would freeze to death in Chicago October. You guys never had to deal with snowy Halloween, did you?
No, Hurricane Halloween.
Really?
Yeah. Kids are just like, I don't care.